Today, I'm going to show you 10 things you may have missed in Arknights Endfield. And if you didn't miss them, well, good for you. You could probably go find another video then. Up first is claiming your simulation rewards. First, we're going to head over to our missions. Another simulation, you can see there are 26 for Valley 4 and 9 for Wuling. About 1 week after release, they made it possible for you to go in here and claim all of your rewards without having to complete the tutorials. This includes all bonus rewards too, so the 15 aura barrel you can see here are free and easy to claim. If you grinded to complete all of these tutorials early on in the game, now might be a good time to go back and check just to make sure you've actually claimed all of the rewards from it. Here you can see an example of one I've yet to claim. You can simply click Content Mastered, Complete Sim, Confirm, and you'll get all the rewards. Tip number 2 is the node rewards. There are only 12 pages of node rewards, as you can see at the top here, and most of them you'll just complete naturally anyway. Personally, I remember I was stuck on number 7 here for a while because I hadn't assembled 4 pieces of blue quality gear. To be fair, that is completely my fault because I just skipped straight to purple. So for my own sanity, I'm assuming at least one other person's done that too. But as I said, there's only 12 of these to complete, and they give great rewards, including 9,000 aura barrel and a 5-star weapon of every type. Some of which, like the OBJ Velocitus, are actually best in slot for characters like Fluorite, so not something just to take for granted. So just in case you forgot, pop in here and check you've completed everything. Tip number 3 is Re-Crisis first time completions. Each of the bosses in Re-Crisis have a few stages to beat beforehand that cost 0 stamina. For example, if I jump into Radan, you can see there were 3 levels I had to complete before reaching level 4. They cost 0 stamina, but each of them give you these rewards, and if you've hit level 80, they're really easy to complete. A good example of this is down in Marble. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and say that. The boss at the bottom here, you can see if I click in, I haven't reached level 3 yet, which would cost me energy, but level 2 costs 0 energy, and I can claim these rewards once I complete it. So if you haven't reached the point in the game yet where you actually need to beat these bosses and farm their loot, you actually might not have realized that you can get some good early game loot by beating the earlier versions of the bosses. For tip number 3, we're going to head over to the credit store. The important thing to note here is that you don't need to use up all 300 of your credit store coins every day. When you come to claim your credits each day, you'll be able to overcap your 300 credits an unlimited amount. This even includes the 400 credits you can claim on the Dajang ship. And just to clarify, if you're not sure where to get these on the ship, it's when you get all 7 clues in the reception room. As you can see below, it says Clue Exchange base rewards, 400 credits. Hope that helps. Personally, I like to hover just below 300, so I know that I don't waste any credits, and if there is an aura bell that pops up the next day for 400, I'll have enough to buy it. So don't be afraid of overcapping, just make sure you're under 300 by the end of the day. For tip number 5, we're talking stock redistribution. The important thing to note here is under staple goods, some of these products refresh weekly. In particular, I'm looking at the Wuling engraving permits, or the Valley 4 engraving permits. As you can see here, I have 22 hours left on my Wuling engraving permits, and I won't be able to buy all of them because I only noticed this a few days ago. It's probably not that hard to understand that the stock that refreshes every week is the one you want to prioritize buying. If you don't know what the engraving permits do, they actually allow you to pre-engrave a stat onto your weapons. That's right, you can control at least one bit of RNG in your gear farming, which after the months of farming I know I've done in Honkai Star Rail and never getting the correct gear, is a blessing. I realize what I just said may have sounded a bit confusing, so I thought I'd jump over to one of the essence farming spots to show you what I mean. These essence here are what you engrave onto your weapons to give them bonus stats. You can run these stages without any permits, it will just cost you 80 stamina. However, I highly recommend you jump over to where you can pre-engrave stats below. Once you've opened up this screen, you're able to select the 3 main attribute stats as well as 1 secondary stat for your weapon. And as you can see in the bottom right, it says this only costs 1 ticket. So unless you have an unlimited supply of stamina, I recommend doing this. So in case you haven't already, remember to buy out your engraving permits each week. Tip number 6 is a close relative to this. We're jumping over to elastic goods. And the main thing I wanted to point out here was your purchase limit. If you've ever had a day like I'm having today, where my best possible purchase is 1.6% down, and if I check my friends, only 120% up, that does not feel good to buy. So what you're going to do is simple. You're going to wait, assuming you haven't already hit your purchase limit. Up here in the top left, you can see I'm able to purchase 50 out of 100 items. And currently in Wuling, you get 50 more of these every day. So it's an easy choice for me today to not buy anything. I hope that tomorrow there's a better stock and I can buy 100 of that. If I jump over to Valley 4, you can see there's a cap of 960 and you gain 320 every day, meaning you can hold out for 3 days before you have to purchase something. Thankfully today, I had scrap toy blocks at 52.6% down and 454% up at a friend's spaceship. So yeah, I made some fat profit. But point being, don't just buy something because you feel like you have to. You may have a day or 2 to wait before you actually are forced to buy something. For tip number 7, if we head back to regional development and over to the depot node, I want to point out that you don't only have your own depot nodes, but if you jump over to list of delivery jobs, you can actually see a number of more jobs available from people you may have on your friends list. You see guys, I told you I had friends, and they definitely know who I am. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how these get here. Personally, I complete all of the jobs in my local depot nodes myself, and I haven't actually checked if you're able just to send these over for someone else to complete. But it's definitely worth checking because you can get some more stock bills for both the Valley and Wuling. And on top of that, unlike normal depot nodes, you can also get credits from this too. The one catch being you can only accept 3 of these a day, so that's 90 credits, and for me that would be around 500,000 Valley 4 stock bills. However, these are so easy to do, it's definitely worth it. Tip number 8 is finally something a little more exciting. We're talking Gacha. If you didn't already know, after every 30 attempts, you actually get a free tempo on the banner. You can see down here, just above the headhunt button, you can see 30 headhunting attempts to get a free 10 times urgent recruitment. If you haven't watched my last video, which you really should, as a free-to-play player, I genuinely believe this is the best way to use your pools. At minimum, they'll be giving you 10 free pools every new banner, and a number of these will only be usable on the current rate up banner. So if you're looking to maximize your probabilities of pulling a 6-star character, getting this extra tempo every banner will go a long way. The one catch to remember about this is that tempo does not count towards your pity. So you're not guaranteed a 6-star character every 2 banners, you're guaranteed a 6-star character every 3 banners. It's not a huge difference, but it's something worth noting. And although I don't think it's as important, if you didn't know it, at 60 pulls, you also get a free tempo on the next limited banner. Personally, I'd rather save my Aura Barrel in case a character ever came out that I did desperately want, and I'll know I'll be able to hit that 120 pity for. Also keep in mind that you do get Arsenal tickets for this free tempo. So even if you don't draw a 6-star character, multiple 5-stars can give you a lot of credits towards getting a 6-star weapon. So if you ever need a small scratch for that itch, 30 pulls is the way to go. Just don't get carried away now. For tip number 9, we're heading over to the big base in the sky. And yeah, sorry, I did pick the male main character. The first thing I wanted to point out here was how to unlock these operator assignment effects, and what I think every person should be doing on their account. First things first, you can see my Akakuri has no effects currently. If we head over into the character menu, you'll notice I've only got her at level 1. All you have to do is level her up to 20, get the first promotion, and you'll be able to unlock this node right here. For every character, this is their first operator assignment effect. So for every operator, you can get this really cheap, and you can see she's now going to slow my mood drop of all operators by 10% in the manufacturing cabins. To be honest, this isn't really the strongest effect, and I probably won't be using her, but it was worth showing an example. To show you this on another character, if I open up my Ember's ability matrix, you can actually see she has an upgrade for each of her operator assignment effects. This is because she is a 6-star character. However, the point still remains that at level 20 she can unlock this first node, and help me start to produce XP material 20% faster. The next important thing about this is to actually read the effects. I know, none of us want to do that. But sadly, you don't really have much choice. For some characters like those in the control nexus, it doesn't really matter as much. Plug them in and they'll definitely do something. However, where it matters most is in the MFG cabins. These operators will either give you a boost to operator XP material or weapon XP material. So the most efficient thing you can do is have one cabin producing operator XP and all of the assigned operators giving a boost to that, and another cabin producing weapon XP and all of the operators in there giving a boost to that. Plus, you will genuinely need these weapon XP materials, as well as the character XP materials. I'm sure you've already noticed it, but we're all running out. So it's worth having both being produced. And tip number 10 is a small part of a much bigger, and I mean much bigger, much more depressing video on the Arknights Endfield endgame etch space. Before I start complaining about this game mode too much, let me just show you what I mean. If you talk to this NPC and head into your commissions and exploration tech, the first thing it's going to point you towards is this key commission at the top. Now I want to make this one thing very clear. Ignore it. You will be able to make some good progress on this, but eventually you'll hit a point where you literally can't do anything with the time you've got. So don't put yourself through the pain I went through before I finally realized that these extra commissions below actually give you the bonus time. Here you can see the reward for this commission is a protocol stabilizing chip 3. What the hell does that mean, game? Well, actually, it's quite simple. It increases the derangement limit, and not by a small amount, by 300. Assuming it's going up by 2 derangement every second, that's another 150 seconds, or 2 minutes and a half you get inside this game mode. I figured I should actually explain these numbers a little more. If we open up the edge space map, you can see Aberrant Zone 1, 2, and 3. And the rate at which derangement increases is different in every single one of these zones. For example, if I step out into Zone 1, you'll see my derangement acceleration start to go up by 1 every second. However, if we now run over to Zone 2, you can now see that my derangement is going up by 2.5 every second. I mean, you can't actually see that, but it goes up by 2, then 3, then 2, then 3, so averaging 2.5. And lastly, now that I'm down in Zone 3, you can see my derangement levels going up by 4 every second. So even in the highest level of derangement, you're still getting an extra 75 seconds by completing that task. The fact that the game does not try to point you more towards this is one of the most frustrating things I've experienced. So please, if you actually are playing this game mode, forget the main commission and do all these side bonds first. Honestly, you can forget about these other ones giving you container expansions, fragment treatment chips, and portable explosive chips. You don't need them. But unless you want to get booted out of this game mode every 2 minutes, you're going to need more time. Anyway, before I throw myself completely off the rails, those were 10 things not to miss in Arknights Endfield. If even one of these was useful to you, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to subscribe now. Heck, leave a like and comment too. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.